She's right. You know, when I think about it, it's just simply being there, fighting for it, demanding their attention, and I mean them, I mean the government, because the people that represent, I think the people that represent the areas you work in and I work in, are not responsible. They can't make a decision. It's very hard to find the guy in China that makes the decision. So you look to the people that you liaise with to get you to the right group, and then we have to go in and do a song and dance.
Well, this is how I prefer to work. I always work through the artists themselves. Artists, contact to contact, are very strengthening for each other. It's a universal strengthening. You right away, it doesn't matter if we don't speak the same language, we do speak the same language. And I have found that my greatest contacts in China have been with the ballet companies, with the dance critics, the dance writers, and people who have been fighting the system all their lives. And so they show me the way.
So you are putting your trust in them, the individuals. That's how you can have the confidence to say, yes, I can do this?
They give you the confidence because you have built a real understanding and communication with them. They trust you as a fellow artist, not as an American, not as anything, but you're a fellow artist. So the trust is established, and then they help you through the channel.
They get behind your elbow and they say, listen, let's go in that direction, and you talk to those guys over there, because they're going to help us make this decision. And you know, in the end, based on enthusiasm, based on belief in yourself and your art form, and the need that the community has for it, the technology's in place, the stages are there. How's your stages in China? They're old, they're horrible and everything, but you know what? As soon as the art form hits the stage and lights go on, man, it's Manhattan Island. It's on the money. And so the magic has taken place. Don't expect explosions of magic in Asia. They're little sparks, and they become color-hewn and explosive over a period of time. And then there's a texture and a quality to them that actually meets the psychographic attitude of the community so that they can respond to it and embrace it, feeling familiar and comfortable with it. Sponsors have to realize this.
Okay. There are explosions.
And they're loyal.
There's the moment when that audience stands up in China, in Hong Kong, and Malaysia, and applause and applause and screams for an encore.
We'll be right back with a little bit more of Newsmakers. Discussion about East-West artist relations. Jack, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the culture and the economies and how that interplays. These economies are growing. Does that mean the markets are bigger? Are you seeing more opportunities because of that?
Okay, let's take the highest end, the highest end of the mountain of economies. You talk about Japan, okay? Jeff Kutash, the producer of the Splash Show from Las Vegas. That is the hottest show in Las Vegas for 9 years. I'm in a meeting with him 3 years ago. I says, Jeff, if you don't focus on Asia, if you don't focus on Japan, you're out of your mind. I think we're missing one of America's greatest exports. You know, he didn't even bat an eyelash. I don't think he flicked a cigarette. He just, you know, I don't know if I made an impression on him. 3 weeks ago, I'm in Japan. I'm not kidding you. 3 weeks ago, I'm in Japan. I've consulted him briefly. You've been in on a few of the meetings. They closed a $64 million U.S. deal where the Japanese laid down the cash. They built a purpose-built venue. It's the first time in the history of the United States of America an entire show has been moved, well, from Las Vegas to Japan on a purpose-built stage in Osaka. This is a phenomenon. The governor of Vegas called it the nation's new export. Now I sit back and I think about technology. American technology is the reason why there are opportunities in entertainment here. I mentioned Craig Quick. There's a real leader. He attacked the government. He attacked the policies of government, but he did it in a way that was culturally correct. I got to ask you, how do you motivate the financial support for the arts in this area?
Well, certain things are established, let's say in China. We know that ballet is established in China and that there's an audience there, right? Okay, so now you can appeal to sponsors for their agenda to get their product in with something that is already a popular form of cultural activity in China, like going to the ballet. But we're introducing American-style ballet under the sponsorship of an American company. It's not as easy as it sounds, of course.
Do Asians write checks? I mean, are Chinese Hong Kong and Chinese Taiwanese and Chinese Singaporeans writing checks to their mainland? No. And are they? And I write a check to the Cleveland Orchestra. I'm in Hong Kong.
The Americans write the checks because the Americans understand what sponsorship of the arts is about, or they understand it more than anyone else. And now they have an agenda to get into China. But this has always been the problem here, to get the local business, the local government to really stand behind the arts and sponsor it in their own countries. and into China, where they have their future as well.
So the profits from all this, excuse me, the profits, where do they come from? I mean, it's from the sponsors then? You're not getting it from ticket sales. Is that what you're saying?
Well, as an example, again, in Japan, you know, there's so much cash there, it's ridiculous. And the show there is sold out in 3 weeks. Why? There's really not that kind of there's no entertainment like that there. Taiwan's got more US dollars than any nation on earth. And in fact, your ice show went into Taiwan. It was a complete sellout. But then again, you did it without sponsorship. Is that true?
It could be done without sponsorship. When you're in a place like Taiwan and Singapore, Hong Kong, you can charge very high ticket prices and you can sell out. So you can make a profit.
But in China?
But in China, there is no profit with ticket sales because they can only charge so little. And the cadres and everyone are invited. There's no such thing as really promotion because their idea of promotion, well, they invite people. And the public will just come with a notice that big in a newspaper. They know where to look, they know where to go, and they'll just pile in with their kids and their dinners and everything and pay 2 cents. So the whole thing in China is very different.
All the returns then come from the sponsors, basically. That's what you look for. How do you?
We don't know that. What I mean to say is we know that, but I don't think the sponsors know it. One thing that I find amazing is how loyal mainland Chinese people are to a product or a service that has brought them something. If I were IBM, I'd be sponsoring everything she did. They'd be selling a lot more IBM machines there than they are right now. That's just the fact of it, isn't it? They are very brand loyal. I think they're more brand loyal than any nation I've ever encountered, and believe me, I've studied a few nations with regards to the subject.
There's one thing that sponsors haven't taken advantage of about live entertainment. What the artists can do for them in terms of their selling their product on television, on video.
Right.
I mean, we can choreograph and perform them. We can do amazing things with products, any product.
Well, how do you convince people in China that...
Well, we can take examples from the States where, you know, some of these things have been long ago created, but it takes a long time. It takes a long time. People just want the direct thing. They never think about art entering into the actual capacity of selling a product.
Right. Art does make us a nation sensitive. Culture makes, absorbing other cultures opens your awareness up to sensitivity, embracing something strange, has to fulfill you. Our whole concept of art is to stimulate the mind and lift the spirit. It's a form of education. It's absolutely necessary. I liken it to religion because, you know, a powerful thing in the arts gives me goosebumps. I have a complete chemical reaction to it. The Chinese are no different than me. The market's the largest in the world, and it's time now to use entertainment for exactly what we use it for in the United States and in Europe. That is to market products. You want an edge in China right now, or you want an edge even in Hong Kong at this point, or in Taiwan or anywhere in the region. Associate your products with art, culture, contemporary entertainment, depending on your demographics, who you're looking for, and you're going to end up being a winner. I don't know that we've done a good enough job or that we've had enough time yet to do the selling job that's needed to do. And being on this show is helping, as a matter of fact. It's just another chip out of the stone we've got to whittle down in awareness to responding to our needs, promote culture, promote the arts.
Well, looking ahead even for 3 more years, 1997, is this going to have an impact on your strategies and how you promote shows through here? This is specifically here to Hong Kong.
I think it's great. I think it's the most exciting thing in the world. Why? China's going to take over one of the most dynamic, cosmopolitan cities in the world. And what they're embracing is themselves and their future. And that, if the Chinese have remained the same, and the China I know for the last 10 years, they're going to, what's the word you use? They're going to mimic that throughout their whole nation. They're going to take pride in it. Hong Kong is going to become a greater place, more cosmopolitan. It's going to be reborn.
Daryl, do you feel the same way?
I would like to initially think that, you know, this symbiotic relationship between China and Hong Kong is going to grow into some fantastic reverberations of the future. But there are also a lot of negative things in the system in China, which affects everything you do and will affect things here. There is corruption. And there is greed.
Not like the
because
stagehand unions
of the
in New York.
fact that people have been suppressed so long, right? It exists everywhere, but it just seems to have a thunderous reverberation on the other hand.